Welcome to Mana Drain. This is episode 20. I'm Mox Born again. I have my 6-year-old son, Eli, with me. What's up, man?
Good.
What's up, good? How are you doing?
Good.
There we go. Oh, I thought maybe you'd say what's up. Never mind. Anyway, so what are we here to talk about today?
The new deck of...
The new set from Magic the Gathering?
Yeah.
You remember what it's called? No? What if I said Hour of... Devastation. Close enough, dude. Close enough. So we went to our pre-release at Epic Loot, one of the many local game stores here in Dayton, Ohio. Shout out to them. They always run a really good event, and they have a couple different events for different style of players and different levels of players. And we played in the Two-Headed Giant pre-release, where it was the two of us versus two other players. And if you've never been to one of these events, if you have someone that plays Magic, this is a great way to get together and really have some fun. We opened up 4 packs of the new set each, so that's 8, and then 2 of the last set. So what's 8 plus 4? Or I'm sorry, what's 8 plus 4? Do you remember? 8 plus 2 is 10. Plus 2 more.
12.
There you go. So we opened up 12 packs of cards between the two of us, and we compiled all of our cards together, and I let you pretty much pick whatever color you wanted. We went into first off, before we get into what cards we did get, what card were you hoping to open? What was the card that you wanted to get? Do you remember?
The big spider.
The big spider? You remember what colors it was?
It was green.
Green and black. Yeah, that was the one we wanted, right? And
we tried to get it, but we didn't.
We didn't get it. I know, right? Isn't that sad? Do you remember what it did, though? Do you remember?
No.
You don't. It's a 1. Remember, it's a 1/4, right?
Mhm.
And what else do you? So you remember what colors it was? Let's pull it up here for everybody so they can see. So this is the card that Eli wanted to get. It's a 1/4. It costs 1 black and 1 green. Nope.
And one of anything.
And 1 of anything. So 3 total mana for a 1/4. Not too bad. It has reach, right? So what does reach mean?
Means it can reach far.
It can reach flyers, so it can block flyers out of the air. Yeah, very good. And then it also says it's called, whenever it deals combat damage to a creature, you put a -1/-1 counter on it, right?
Yeah.
And then it also says whenever you put a -1/-1 counter on a creature, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So that's pretty cool, right? So that was the card we were looking for. It was really cool artwork. It's it looks like a lot of fun to play with, but we didn't get it. Man. But I think we made a pretty good deck. I think you picked out that you wanted to play black first.
Black and red.
Right. I think black was the first set of colors that all the cards you said you wanted to play black first.
And then you picked out the powerful of red.
Right, and then I was like, okay, if you picked out the black cards you want to play with, and you had a lot of spells and things like that to kill their people's creatures. But in limited, in sealed, like what we were playing, is the way you win is by having creatures. So then you went through and you picked out some red creatures, and we'll talk about those. So let's talk about what your favorite card was. What's your favorite card that we opened? This guy. What is this guy?
Yes.
Granatic Titan. He is a 5/4. You tell me what he is. What is he?
He's a 5/4.
Yep. And what's how much does he cost to play?
2 reds.
Yep.
And 4 of anything.
Yes. So 6 total mana. So he costs a lot. How many? And is there anything special about him? He's got Menace, which means he has to be blocked with 2 or more people, so they can't just throw 1/1s at him. And he also has cycling. Do you remember what cycling did? This is something new. We didn't practice cycling before.
No idea.
No idea? Well, you did it a couple times during the matches. You pay this 2 of anything, and you can discard him, and then you get to draw a card off the top of your library. You did that a couple times on Saturday night. So we had a lot of fun. So that's your favorite card. I, on the other hand, you were building you had 2. Yeah, you did have 2, which is good. You opened 2 of them.
Yeah, that's pretty good because they're pretty powerful.
They are powerful because they deal 5 damage, right? Mm-hmm. And what's better than a 5/4 with menace? What's better than that? Do you know? A 5/4 with flying, right? Mm-hmm. So a 5/4 with flying, and the way we gave this thing flying is one of the cards that I was excited about called Aerial Guide. I built a blue-white deck, and kind of, we built your deck first, and it was probably about 30 minutes. My deck, on the other hand, was pretty much thrown together pretty quick, and I knew, after we built your deck, was like, oh, okay, I need some spells to control the deck, to control the field, and I need to be able to get your guys through. So
more guys and more lands to do them.
Right, more lands to cast them, right. So I had one of my favorite cards of the set, Aerial Guy, which is a 3 mana, 1 blue, and 2 generic 2/2 with flying. But the kicker is, when he attacks, I can give target attacking creature flying as well. So that meant we were able to give your 5/4 with menace up an extra set of an extra ability called flying. What does flying? You remember what flying means?
Yeah, it flies.
It flies. Wow. What? So we talked about reach. So can this lizard block your flyer? Because he doesn't have flying or reach, right? So that was a pretty good combo, being able to give your guy flying attack. So I was more of the control player. I only had, I think, 10 creatures in my deck, and the rest were interruption spells where I could tap down their creatures so they couldn't block. I had a couple sandblasts that let me, we would let them attack in, or we would make a silly attack or whatever, and they would block with their big guy to kill our thing. So Sandblast is 1 white and 2 generic, and it deals 5 damage to target attacking and blocking creatures. So I did a lot of the, removal kind of things to let your guys through. So what were some of the guys that you attacked with the most? What was
this guy?
What is that guy?
It's a lizard.
It's a lizard. Do you remember what's special about your lizard?
No.
No, you don't. Now, you remember how when you cast a spell, what would happen to his power and toughness? Do you remember?
It would go even powerful.
It would go even powerfuler. So you were casting spells like Open Fire, right? So you would deal 3 damage to one of their creatures to kill it, and that would make him stronger. So he would go from a 2/2 to a 3/3 for the rest of the turn. Now, the other thing that's impressive about this guy is he deals his damage first in combat when attacking. So you can't just block with a 2/2 and it'll die before yours does. So that was a good creature. Do you remember how many of these guys you had?
4.
Yeah, you had 4 of them. Holy smokes, that's a good creature. Another spell that you were casting. Actually, before we get into that, let's talk about this guy. This guy is a champion. He was dealing so much damage throughout the games that we were playing. So this is Firebrand Archer. How much does he cost? Or she? How much does she cost?
1 fire.
1 red.
1 red and 1 of anything.
1 of anything. 1 generic.
And she's a 2/1.
Right. Now, do you remember what she was doing? You weren't attacking with her. What were you, when you cast a spell, what would she do to your opponent? Do you remember?
Kill it.
Deal damage. Right? So you would cast a spell, so you would cast like Open Fire, and it would deal 3 damage to our creature or player, but Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Firebrand Archer deals 1 damage to each opponent. So that's how you were dealing. You were dealing a lot of damage that way too.
So it's like 1 damage for each opponent. Like
right,
one of them.
right. So that was one of the key things that we looked for in your cards. Was this says each opponent. So when you're playing in Two-Headed Giant, you've got 2 opponents. So when you cast a spell, a non-creature spell, you're dealing 1 damage to player 1 and 1 damage to player 2. So you're getting like double damage on that, which is fantastic, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. What else? What else did we play with here? So here's another spell that you were playing with called Lethal Sting. Do you remember what that did? This is what I think you like the artwork more than anything. So how much does Lethal Sting cost?
1 black and 2 of anything.
Yeah. So Lethal Sting is a sorcery, and now when you cast it, you also had to put a -1/-1 counter on one of your creatures, which isn't too bad, but that's part of the cost, because what it does is destroys a creature that you pick. You can just pick whichever one you want. So you were taking down flyers, you were taking down big guys. I think you even killed one of my guys because our opponents had stolen my flyer, and you're just like, well, we don't want to be hit. We don't want to get hit with our 4/4 flyer, so you took him down because we didn't have any flyers to block with. So that was a good play. I mean, 4 damage in the air is a lot. So, did you like playing with that one?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
That's pretty awesome. Now, the other card that we only got to play with once, and we didn't win the game that we were able to play it, but I think it's gonna be a good card. It's pretty expensive. How much does Neheb cost?
2
red.
Yep. And 3 of anything.
3 of anything. And how big is what's his stats? What's his numbers?
4/6.
4/6. Now Neheb is we didn't get to play with him, or we played with him once, and we really didn't have a lot of practice with him. So I'll read it to you and kind of tell you how it works. So Neheb has one of these new abilities called Afflict. And what Afflict says is this one has Afflict 3. So the creatures have different numbers of Afflict. Okay. Whenever this creature becomes blocked, defending player loses 3 life. So if you were to attack, and let's say they don't block, you're going to deal the player 4 damage, right? Because he's got 4 damage. But if they do block, let's say if they block with a 2/2 flyer, they're going to take, since he becomes blocked, they're going to take 3 damage just for blocking. That's pretty good. Now the other thing about Neheb, which is extremely good, is after you're done attacking, right? You get another chance to play creatures during your turn. When you're done attacking, you get red mana equal to the number of damage you dealt that turn. So like if you were to attack and Neheb dealt 4 damage to the player, you get 4 free red mana to cast things out of your hand. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like keep all the other ones like in your hand and just randomly do like 4.
Mm-hmm. So you just keep the things in your hand, and then when you're done attacking, you say, okay, well, I'm going to play this one for free and then this one for free. That sounds like fun for us, not so much for them. Mm-hmm. So, as far as, like I said, my deck, I had a lot of removal spells, do the cats. We actually got pretty lucky and we opened, I shouldn't say I, because I don't know who opened these cards, but we opened up the Regal Calicar, or Carcal. This is I didn't save this one. So this one is a 3/3 cat for 2 white and 3 generic. It's kind of like a cat lord, right? So other cats you control get +1/+1 and have lifelink. Do you remember what lifelink is?
No.
When it deals damage, what do you get? What happens to your life? There you go. Very good. So it bumps all your other cats, and it gives them lifelink. And when she comes into play, you get to create 2 1/1 white cat creature tokens with lifelink. So you automatically get 2/2s Two 2/2s with lifelink. That's exciting, right? Now the other one, we got Adorned Pouncer, which is a really good card. It's a 2 mana, so 1 white and 1 generic. I actually think we've got this one. This is a pretty cool card. Good late game, good early game. So for 2 mana, 1 white, 1 generic, you get a 1/1 double strike. Not too bad. I mean, it's not the best card in the world, but that means it's going to deal 1 damage at first, so it'll take down any 1/1s or any 2/1s, which there are a ton of.
This one's the goodest.
That one is the best. Yeah, that one's pretty good. But this one also has Eternalize. So for 5 mana, so for 3 generic and 2 white, you can exile this card, make a copy of it, except that it's a 4/4 black zombie cat with no mana cost. So it becomes a 4/4 with double strike, which is really good because it can take down the biggest creature in the set.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
Right.
Like,
and then
it
if you've
can
got...
kill this guy?
Yep, it sure can.
Because that's my biggest.
Yeah, because that one's defense is only 6. So this deals 4 damage and then 4 more damage on top of that. So 8 total damage.
And then that guy will die?
Yep. And with the Regal Cat in play, it's going to get +1/+1 and lifelink. So it's going to deal 9 damage and gain 9 life every time it attacks, which is fantastic, right?
Yeah, that's pretty
So
good.
we had fun. I mean, it was a blast playing the game. We won our first match, right? Oh, you want to talk about that one?
Yeah.
Do you remember what this one does? We're not done talking about cards yet, but we'll bring up...
Kills all the guys.
It kills all the guys. It does kill a lot of them because there's a ton of, X1 creatures, 1 toughness and 2 toughness. There was a few 3s that you took down with this thing, but most of them are 2 1s or 2 2s. So that's really good. I mean, you were able to cast those spells and not have any issue. Oh, you want to talk about that one too? That is the Sphinx that we opened, which is we didn't have any other Sphinxes, so the Sphinx synergy wasn't happening for us. But this Ominous Sphinx is 3 generic, 2 blue for a 4/4 flyer, which is great. A great card in limited, absolutely fantastic. But whenever you cycle or discard a card, target creature an opponent controls gets -2/-0 until end of turn. So it's got added bonus. Not too shabby. I didn't have a lot of cycling in my deck, but I was playing it for the the big butt. So let's talk about how the night went. What happened in our first game? Do you remember? What happened in our first game?
We won.
We did win.
And then
Do you remember how we won? What card we won with?
The lightning.
The lightning land. So we made some pretty good, choices as far as attacking and blocking is concerned. We were running out of time. We got them down to 3. No, we got them down to 1. And then, because the one guy had a curse in play that they gained life every time I played a creature. So
he had like a owl.
Scooch in. Yeah, they did have the owl thing that lets them untap a creature when he attacks. But we needed creatures on the board because they just wiped everything out the turn before it was the final turn. So I had to play a couple creatures to make sure we had blocks and stuff like that.
You had the ancient crab.
The ancient crab was a good one. That's a good blocker. That's a 1/4, very good.
No, it's a 1/5.
Oh, 1/5. Wow, look at you go. That's a good job. So the last turn, we're like, okay, I think we've got this under control. We've stabilized. I don't think we're gonna die. We just need to find a way to deal 3 damage. We were really looking, and you didn't have the archer in play because they had killed her, but we had only cast I think 2 of the 3 open fires that we had. So we were really hoping to get the open fire, and lo and behold, Eli top decks this card, the Ruins, this run up Ruins, which is a desert. One of the new types of lands from Hour of Devastation. It taps for colorless. You can tap it, pay a life, and tap it for red. It produces a red mana. Stay in your side. And then the ability that really helps, that won us the game. Another one of these kind of cheap spells that says each opponent. So we kind of what are you doing? Okay, we're almost done. Relax. One of the cheap spells that says each opponent, so it does double duty, right? So this spell, or not spell, excuse me, this land, so it can't be countered, which is fantastic. Is red, 2 generic. You tap it, and you sacrifice any desert. So you could sacrifice it. Or you could sacrifice another desert, which we put in the cycling deserts, which are, come into play tap and tap for the mana of the, their color or whatever. And then it deals 2 damage to each opponent. So you top deck this, comes into play untapped, which is great. Then you tap your 4 lands, sacrifice the desert, and what happens? Victory. You dealt 4 damage to them, right?
Yeah.
That was exciting, Chubb. So that was game 1. Do you remember what happened game 2? We played at table 1. We were at table 1. We were the top of the pack.
And I ate 2 pizzas in the first one.
Yeah, so you did eat a ton of pizza. But game 2 we lost because we didn't have really good lands. We didn't have a lot of mana. And the one guy was playing green-red, and he had some really big creatures with haste and double strike and stuff like that, and it just was not good. But we won our second game, or our third game, right? So we won our third game. That one was pretty exciting. That one went to turns, which means if no one wins by the end of when the timer goes out, the current player gets to be turn 0, and then you play 3 turns. So then they were currently playing at turn 0, and then we got to play, then they got to play, and then we got to play. So their turn 0, they cast a spell it's with Aftermath, so they had to cast it from their graveyard, that shuffled their hands and the graveyard into the library, right? So we got all of our cards back that we had previously cast. But then we drew 7 cards, and I think this is where they kind of misstepped. They shouldn't have done that, because we got 7 cards back. And one of those 7 cards was the Ruins again. So the Ruins won us the game 3, right? Mm-hmm. So game 3 was won with this one land. So our wins Saturday, were all about the land, right? So did you have fun?
Yeah.
What was your favorite part about that night?
A lot of pizza.
A lot of pizza. How many pieces of pizza did you end up eating?
6.
6 pieces of pizza throughout the night. Oh, Eli.
And today lunch, I ate 10 pizzas.
You did? Really? 10 pizzas? You were going to turn into a piece of pizza. But no, it was fun. We ended up getting we had 8 packs of cards that we won each, which was good. We got a couple planeswalkers in those packs.
We got some donkeys.
Oh, so you mean some camels?
And one was a zombie camel.
Yeah, we did get a zombie camel. That's kind of funny. All right, you have anything else that you want to say before we close out the show?
I'm going to show one more,
We already showed that card.
No, one more guy.
We already showed that one. Do you want? We can pull it back up before we go. We'll pull it one more card, okay? We'll pull up the Drake that gives flying. This was a great card. This was one of the combo pieces that helped out a lot. It's the 2 generic and 1 blue with flying 2/2, and when it attacks, target attacking creature gets flying as well. So that's how we were able to get your 5/4 in, right?
Yeah.
With flying.
With
this guy, your Titan. Yep, your Titan was flying. That's not good. Flying Titans, that's ouch. 5/4s with flying. Ugh.
Yeah, that's bad.
And menace, so that means they have to have 2 flyers to block it? That ain't happening. So, All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. If you like the episode, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to get subscribed to our YouTube channel. We really appreciate it. It's a great way to support the channel. It's free. It doesn't cost you a dime. If you'd like to support the show monetarily, you can head over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/72DPI. Become a patron for as little as $1 a month. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep the light on. And we keep bringing you fun content like this. Well, this
like
is this
more and more cards.
More and more cards. So this
Till
is
I
our
get, 1,000 years old.
Oh boy, 1,000 years old. Oh god. Oh god. So this was our third event. So next event is going to be an exciting one. It's called Ixalan, and this is where there are pirates and dinosaurs on this world. So that sounds really fun. So we'll go to that, and we'll bring back another
Maybe I will get a zombie T-Rex.
zombie T-Rex. I don't know if there are zombies on this plane. You never know. We'll see. But we'll talk more about it when that time comes around, and maybe we'll put out a couple more videos of us playing with our new cards. So thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit, little man. Was it fun?
Mm-hmm.
You want to do it again?
It's past my bedtime.
It is way past your bedtime. And with that, we will end the show, guys. Thanks for watching, and have a great night. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.